welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a room decor DIY video. I'm going to be adding a few decorations to my room at home and also my dorm room back at school. So I just wanted to share with you guys a few ideas that I've been working on, and let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you guys how to make is this cute dry erase board calendar. So what you're going to need is a frame. Mine is 12 by 10 inches and it's from IKEA. Then you'll also need some glue, some scissors, a dry erase board marker, a ruler, and some glittery paper. Also, you're going to need a pencil, which I forgot to show in the video. So this frame that I got I think was only $7, so I definitely recommend going to IKEA. But what I'm doing right now is just taking out the back of it, and then I'm going to actually use the back to create the background, and I'm going to paint over it. Also, just keep in mind that it doesn't have to be perfect when you paint it because most of it's going to be covered up. Then I'm just grabbing that glittery paper and I'm going to start making measurements for the little squares. And I'm making them 2 by 2 inches. And afterwards I just start cutting out the squares, and I do the same exact process for the other sheet of paper that I have. Afterwards I just arranged all the little squares on the background how I wanted before gluing them, and then I just started taking the glue and putting them on the board. So here I'm just using my ruler on the edge to make sure that all the squares are straight. And once that first column is straight, I just use that to make all the other columns straight as well. So once I finished gluing all the squares on, I just put the little background into the frame. And for this part, I would recommend using something metal to bend down the edges, otherwise it kind of messes up your nails. So now for the final step, I'm just writing down the month, of course, and then also the days of the week and the dates, and then I'm also going to add a few events to my calendar. To the next project. I think this one is my favorite. So what you'll need is a canvas, then your choice of paints, but make sure you also have a white one. Also a ruler, a small and large paintbrush, and a pencil. And I got all of these things from Michael's except for the ruler, the pencil, and the smaller brush. So the way that I make this ombre canvas is just by gradually adding different amounts of white to the original color. And so in this first little layer, I'm just using the purple color with no white added in it. And here I'm just beginning to add some of that white paint to my plate so that I can mix it in with the purple color. Every so often I just dip my brush into the cup of water just to make the paint easier to blend out, but you don't want your brush to be too wet, otherwise it will start to mess up the way that it looks. And for the next layer, I'm just kind of repeating that process of adding a little more white paint to make it a little lighter, just so that it can gradually fade into that pink color. Notice how for the pink color I didn't really clean off my brush. I kind of left that purple in there because I wanted it to blend a little bit more. Then here I just decided to start wiping off my brush and kind of rinsed it off in the water just to make that pink color a little more intense now. For that layer I didn't use any white, but then for the very top I started to mix the pink with the white. So here I just began to go back over everything and blend it all out, but make sure that your brush is barely even wet, because if it's too wet it'll kind of start to make the color white, as you can see near the bottom, so then I had to go back over it again.
I was in the rush, they can't find me. So get up right next to me, and everything is straight. Gonna get left behind if you choose to stay the same.
Then I began to go back over the pink area a little more because I thought it was a little too light. Then I just began to make measurements to make sure that my quote would be centered. And this is going to be different for everyone depending on what words you decide to use. But basically you just want to make sure that there's the same amount of space between the edge of the canvas and the first letter of your word, and then the other edge of the canvas and the last letter of that word, if that makes sense. And the reason why I chose this quote is because it's from one of my favorite songs, but you guys can just choose any words or any quote that you would like. Probably going to need to go over that gold color again if you decide to use gold, because usually it's not completely opaque. Finally, I just erased the lines and made a few touch-ups on the letters with the original paint, and all done. So the first thing that you're going to need is some string lights. I got mine from Target for only like $5. And then you're also going to need some photo paper, which I also got from Target for $7. And then you're going to need some clothespins. I got those from Michael's, and some command hooks, which I got from Target. So if you have your own pictures printed out, you can just use those. But I kind of wanted to take some pictures from my Tumblr, so I just got on there and picked out a few from my feed that I liked, and then I saved them to my computer. So for this next part, I just formatted the pictures to be printed out on the photo paper, and I'm using the Pages app that comes on a Mac. And the reason why I'm using this instead of Word is because for me it's just kind of easier to move the pictures around on Pages, so that's what I am doing here. I'm just copying those photos and then pasting them into the document. And I kind of wanted my photos to have a Polaroid feel to them, so I kind of left enough space so that when they're printed out, I can kind of cut them out in that way, which you'll see. And make sure to select the photo paper option before you print. So here I just have 10 photos that I printed out, and I actually ended up printing out 6 more because it wasn't really enough for what I wanted it to look like. So now I just began to cut out the pictures, and then I took out the string lights and laid them across and kind of began to arrange the pictures how I wanted. But it might just be easier to hang up the lights first and then put on the pictures after. But whichever you find easiest is whichever you can choose.
Can you see the lights? Can you feel it? Can you grab it? Never know ambition, how you ever supposed to have it.
So that's it, guys. I think this is just a cute way to add a little something to your regular string lights. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and leave your comments below, and I will see you all next time.